Hidden in as far as my feet will carry me, first 10 minutes. A clue that predicts the ending. Missed it? Let's blow your mind. 8T, the beginning of the film, we see a man in a vast, snowy field. He's cutting open a seal and, in a desperate act of survival, places his injured foot inside the carcass to keep warm. Using the seal's skin, he bandages his wounded feet so he can continue his grueling journey. This man is Clemens, a soldier traveling alone through a frozen wasteland, determined to survive a journey that spans thousands of kilometers. The scene then flashes back to 1945, revealing Clemens' past. He was a German soldier captured by Russian forces during the war. Alongside many of his comrades, he was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment in a remote location approximately 10,000 kilometers away, deep within a snowy, desolate land. The prison, though lacking physical walls or doors, was inescapable. The deadly cold and lack of food or water made survival outside impossible. So most prisoners chose to stay and work. Clemens was transported with other soldiers. And after the train journey ended, they were forced to walk 2,000 kilometers on foot to reach the labor camp. The harsh conditions and scarce food led many to perish from hunger and cold. Those who remained had no option but to keep walking. After 1.5 years of walking and settling in, Clemens and the surviving soldiers began working in the mines, enduring brutal labor and cruelty from the Russian guards. Many, worn down by years of suffering, had given up all hope of escape, except Clemens. Clemens held on to one reason to live: his wife and daughter. He longed to return to them and believed that one day he would. But fate wasn't kind. When he finally saw a chance to escape, a Russian soldier caught him. As punishment, Clemens was confined in an open-air cell in freezing rain, which left him severely ill. He waited for support from his fellow prisoners, but when he returned to the mines, he found that they were ready to kill him, perhaps out of fear or command. He collapsed and later, upon regaining consciousness, asked the doctor to write a letter to his wife. The doctor, however, revealed something even more grim. The entire prison was surrounded by carbon, which was slowly poisoning and killing everyone. Clemens had once tried to escape, but failed. Afterward, he accepted his grim reality. Yet, his urge to escape never truly died, until he discovered he had cancer. The diagnosis crushed his spirit, but hope returned when the doctor handed him a compass and showed him the way out. One night, Clemens made his move. He slipped away into the darkness, knowing he had to travel 14,000 kilometers to reach home. The warden soon discovered his escape, but it was too late. The doctor who helped Clemens had already taken his own life. Despite interrogating the prisoners, the warden got no information. After 5 days of fruitless searching, the authorities assumed Clemens was dead. But the warden knew Clemens was no ordinary man. He was strong and determined. 15 days into his escape, Clemens' food had run out, and all he could see was snow. He had come far, but was barely surviving. Lying in the snow, he spotted a seal. With trembling hands, he missed a shot. But instead of giving up, he summoned his strength and pursued the animal. Despite breaking his leg in freezing water, Clemens managed to kill the seal. He now had food, but was gravely injured. Still, he kept going, talking to himself to stay sane and using the compass to stay on course. The seal skin also served as makeshift bandages. This was the moment we saw at the film's beginning. With his leg resting and his body nourished, Clemens pushed forward. One day, he saw a tree in the distance, a rare sight in that icy land. To him, it was like finding a treasure, a sign that he was leaving the barren snowfields behind and entering a forest. Hope surged through him. He lit a fire, spent the night in peace, and felt a flicker of comfort for the first time. But the next morning brought a violent snowstorm. A tree fell on him, knocking him unconscious. Fortunately, some hunters found him later that evening and rescued him. The film jumps ahead. 2 years have passed since his escape from prison. Clemens' journey continues. With 2 other men, he battles through storms and treacherous waters. During one crossing, one man falls into the water, and Clemens jumps in to save him. But the third companion turns on them, driven by greed for gold. He kills one and tries to kill Clemens. who is left unconscious in the snow that when Clemens awakens, he's surrounded by wolves. One bites his leg before a local man arrives and shoots the wolves, saving him once again. The man brings Clemens to his village, where he receives treatment and begins to recover. But peace doesn't last. Clemens learns that the warden has spread his wanted posters across the world. He can't stay. Before leaving, the villagers provide him with food, clothes, and a dog that a year passes. Guided by the dog, Clemens reaches a lumber factory. The workers feed him, and the factory owner offers him a ride to the next city. Clemens is thrilled until he realizes the man had seen his wanted poster. As Clemens boards a train, the owner secretly informs the warden. At the station, Clemens faints when he sees the warden waiting. But his loyal dog attacks the warden, buying Clemens time to escape again to be pursued by soldiers. Clemens jumps onto a moving train. Months later, he finds himself in Central Asia, hungry and penniless. A kind boy places a piece of bread in his pocket, and two women, seeing his condition, ask the boy to give him food. Gaining a bit of strength, Clemens visits a church where he meets a Jewish man. Though the man distrusts Christians, he brings Clemens home to help him. Clemens, however, is wary. When a man steps out, Clemens returns to the church. The man finds him there, and Clemens explains that he no longer trusts anyone. He believes the man has seen his poster and plans to turn him in. Instead of answering, the man gives him a passport and a travel pass. Clemens, filled with gratitude, continues his journey that he is now close to the Russia-Germany border. Using the pass, he gets a lift in a van and approaches the checkpoint. Nervous, he presents his documents. Everything goes smoothly until he sees the warden again. Fear grips him, but he walks forward. The warden looks at him and says, "The battle was between two soldiers. You won. Now you are free." At last, Clemens returns to Germany. His wife and daughter are in a church, praying. Clemens enters quietly. He doesn't call out, but his daughter senses something and turns around. Her hope has never faded. Seeing her father, she runs to hug him, and his wife breaks down in joy. Clemens' long, harrowing journey, spanning 7.5 years, finally ends in the arms of his loved ones. This true story of strength, survival, and unwavering love is finally complete. If this recap changed your mind about as far as my feet will carry me, smash like. If it didn't, fight me in the comments. And subscribe. You know you want to. Thanks for watching.